And here's the 6 words that could change your relationship with somebody. And I look around, I go, where's your mom? Because now they're what? Curious, right? They lean in. So I've engaged their biology. I've made them more curious about what I'm going to say. So when do you listen to somebody more? When they're just blabbering on?
No,
or when they're,
really, I'm going to tell you a secret.
I'm going to tell you a secret, right. So they lean in, and I lean in, and I say, what would happen if you did? So if they're refusing to play the piano or play at a recital, and I say, what would happen if you did? What do they have to do in order to understand my sentence?
They have to start thinking about it.
Exactly. They have to imagine themselves doing it. So I've at no time argued with them now. I've at no time refuted what they say. And by the way, I'm not saying there isn't a point where you say, go to your room and clean it. I'm not saying that at all. I'm not saying that we never say to somebody in the office, you know your job, go and do it.
Right.
But that's really when we've already failed that we get to that point. If we've gotten to that point, we've already failed probably more than once before. And that's another thing that great communicators do, by the way. They don't attribute failure of communication to the other person. They don't go like, you're stupid. They say, okay, obviously I failed. I didn't figure out a way to communicate with that person in an effective way that time. So it's not personal. And they just adopt the belief that the quality of the communication is the quality of the response they get. That's what great communicators do. So if they get a bad response, they better get a better response by figuring out how to deal with it. It's
wow.
A lot going on there, I know.
I'm going to try it with my 19-year-old.
I have person after person after person tell me, when I heard you speak, I thought it can't be that easy. I just had this. I was at a talk, and someone had read my book and said to me afterwards, which is like music to my ears, I read this thing and I thought it cannot possibly work. And it did. And the reason is we're using, in these 2 books, we're using the way that human beings process information biologically to enhance our communication. We're not fighting against who we are.
It's putting that idea in the mind almost. And once again, your 2 books are The Language of Parenting and an essay in Einstein's Business.
Available from fine booksellers anywhere. And actually, if anybody wants, you could get these from Amazon. You could Google me, David M. Fries III, and that book will come up. Einstein's Business is, I think actually both are still in the bookstores, but you can order Einstein's Business from Borders and Barnes & Noble if they don't have it in.
And how about for viewers out there that may want to learn more about communicating and your skills? How can they reach out to you?
Sure. For your viewers, we've put a couple of things up that they could get for free. If they go to www.redwirepress.com,
okay.
They could go to, there's a place where they could go and get bibliographies with all different kinds of books. And you can also sign up there and you'll get chapters of the book and information. And also www.thelanguageoffamilies.com. And on Redwire Press, this Einstein's Business book has just come out. We'll put up a place soon where you could go and sign up and get little weekly reminders on business communication skills too.
Well, I thank you, Dave, for sharing your ideas on parenting and great communication skills. And I enjoyed The Language of Parenting, as well as your essay in Einstein's Business. And does there happen to be maybe a 3rd book in the works?
I have another book coming out. It'll probably be about 12 months to 18 months. It's tentatively titled The Language of Success. And it's kind of an expansion on this business essay in Einstein's Business. It's all about how you can become more persuasive, more effective at business communication and in your personal life. So it's all about how do we use communication to achieve success in the things that we want. Maybe it's in our personal lives in making a change in the world through a nonprofit. Maybe it's in our business life to make it more profitable, to start a new marketing system, whatever. This is going to be the basic strategies and tactics that people use in business rather than in their personal lives.
Well, I hope you'll come back on again and share us when your new book comes out. I enjoyed reading your book, and I hope to be a better communicator in the future.
Thank you very much.
Lights viewed at night from space reveal not only where we live, but how we live. Large clusters of lights show where North Americans, Europeans, and Japanese live and how much energy they consume. Now compare the nighttime view in sub-Saharan Africa, a region where natural resources are severely strained. It is poorly lit, even though about 200 million more people live there than in North America. This nighttime view of the Earth illuminates the gap between the world's richest nations and those with high rates of poverty and depleted resources. Nearly half of the world's population lives on less than $2 a day. Most live in rural areas and depend directly on the land, forests, and water systems to survive. But the global demand for Earth's resources is intensifying. More than 6 billion people live on the planet, and 80 million more are added each year, like adding a New York City almost every month. Most of this growth will occur in countries already most deprived. The impacts of human activity reach into every corner of the Earth. City lights at night and their absence in places reveal a divide that must close between the world's richest and poorest people. Otherwise, the hopelessness and despair that accompany poverty will drive environmental devastation, whose consequences cannot be shielded from any of us.